that say, well, that's absurd. What's all this doomsday stuff? What's all this prophetic stuff? Intelligent human beings should realize that everything has their cycle. They have their season. They have their beginning. They have their end. They have cycles. We're not saying that planet Earth is coming to an end. We're saying that planet Earth is about to be refurbished, spaded under, and have another chance to serve as a garden for another human civilization.
So what do you think about that?
I'm not gonna lie, the eyes are totally captured. Like I am staring right into them, and I
Yep.
can't. He doesn't blink. I have questions. Um, I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I don't know.
The first impression that I get, and this is coming from, some, I guess, someone that's probably seen a little bit more of the doomsday kind of stuff. And from what I'm seeing is he's very much saying, well, it's not that the world is going to end. This isn't a doomsday. It's just we're preparing for the next evolution of mankind. So he's not really saying too much. Oh my gosh. Melissa Jane, good to see you. Good to see you.
Hello.
Yeah, it's he's not saying too much, but he's given enough of a hint that he's saying you need to jump on board this vehicle. We'll
Yeah.
see where it goes.
Now, the reason this is such an interesting time is not only because we're on the threshold of the end of this civilization, because it's about to be recycled, but because of where that finds us, where that finds you, where that finds those who would judge us, how we would speak of them, and how they would speak of us. Now, you keep saying us. Who do you think you are? Well,
Who do you think you are? Well, hi everyone. This way up. Good to see you. Really good to see. Make sure you guys reach down there, hit the thumbs up button. It helps out the algorithm. I always forget to say that because, I'm just silly like that. But whenever you see this way's up, makes me think thumbs up. See. So you have to show up so I can remember it. Thumbs up for this way up.
in all honesty,
Oh my gosh, Caper. Good to see you. Good to see you
Hey.
also. Definitely. Yeah, Caper's one of those fine folks came over from LC. That's
Mm-mm.
it's awesome. Yeah, let's see. I think I got everybody. Okay. We'll continue on. Sorry about that.
must acknowledge my father. My father is not a human father. My father is a member of the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. My father gave me, long before this civilization, gave me birth into that kingdom level above human, that kingdom of heaven, that kingdom of God. Now,
Now, what are you saying is man, oh man. I'm gonna have to do one just for this man right here.
Don't be dry, baby.
Let's go, Brandon. That's for you. That was your bikini. Did you not see it? How about
Don't
that?
be dry, baby.
She don't want you dry. Don't be dry, Brandon. Don't be dry. Let's go, Brandon. Bikini time. I don't have a bikini. I don't have a bikini. Tonight's not bikini time.
It's getting a little cold for bikinis.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But
Good
if
to
you
see
do
you.
get one, it has to be, itty bitty teeny weeny yellow polka dotted.
Why does he always think I'm wearing drawers? I'm not wearing any drawers. Never. Not this time of night. Good God. No, man. Oh my gosh, Danielle. Danielle, sweetheart. Oh, I could hear her laughing all night last night. All the better. Yes, sir it is. Yes. So he's talking about having this serious thought process, which I've had before, which is, my outlook on life. Do a chat poll, huh? I don't think there's a real say. Hold on a second. It went by so fast. I don't think that's a real guy's CGI, more like it. That's all. No, he's real. So you want to see a poll chat? I don't know. I can't think of. Put your grin in and drop the link. Jeez, you guys are so horrible. You guys are so horrible. Let's do a chat poll. I don't know. I guess I could put up a chat poll. It's going to be hilarious if I do. So what we'll do is we'll start a poll. Do they make it to the spaceship following the comet? Well, we'll just put that in there, and it's pretty easy. Yes or no? Do they make it to the spaceship following the comet? Huh? There you go. All you have to do is decide yes or no. Man, Keeney, no, I don't wear a banana hammock. No, Melissa Jane. Just it wouldn't look right. Whatever happened. Hell, 9,000. Whatever happened to the Primus video? I can't show it here. I showed it to Caitlin afterwards, but I can't show it here. It'll get my channel, like, it'll shut it down like super quick. Cause yeah, they're pretty particular about that. But I showed
Yeah.
her what the Whamola was. She was like shaking her head, just like, oh my gosh. I don't get it. Yeah, because Caitlin's like into gangster rap, like she walks around drinking a 40. telling you, telling you. She's
Totally.
she is totally gangster. You guys, well, I should say bungee smuggler. Yeah, that's what they call it in Australia, is a budgie smuggler.
My favorite comment I've ever heard after somebody saying a budgie smuggler
Yes,
was,
I
I
did.
can't remember who said it, but somebody was like, "Isn't a budgie a bird?"
Yeah, it is.
And then it gives a whole new connotation, and then you picture
Having
a
a
whole new set of things.
Well, Melissa Jane, when you get to 1,000, I am totally. Well, I want to be there for that one. I will be your Java. Creepy.
We're
Having
gonna
her
get there
choke,
for you.
having her
She's
choke me
gonna
out.
get there. We're gonna get to see the slave Princess Leia. We're all gonna be in a happy, happy, fun place.
Brandon, you are an antagonist right there. Time to live that strike life. No. If I can avoid strikes, I will definitely avoid them with all possibilities, because that can get crazy. Well, I'm just think I sort of feel I sort of feel sorry for Mad Max, because, well, if she's wearing the Princess Leia outfit and she doesn't have a Han Solo around, I can get you 5 subs. Get you 5 subs. I'm not that hungry. No, love it. Love it. Never mind. I'm sure it's me all time. Time myself out now, running to the shadows. Run to the shadows. I mean, and this is sort of a pretty dark one, because this is, This is about the time that the Hailbot came around, and I mean, luckily Bonnie died before all of this happened, because I don't know if she would have been down with it, because this guy went a little bonkers, as you can tell by his eyes.
A little?
So I deserve a mankini. I will not show that on stream ever. Nope. Won't show it on stream. I don't want to disappoint.
You can say, well, I can't believe that. Well, it's up to you whether you believe that or not. That's not important to me, even though I wish that you could believe it for your sake. For those who do believe it, stand a possibility of a future beyond this recycling time. Now you say, well, according to religious literature, I thought there was someone else that was going to come and be our Savior here at these end days, that was going to be Christ's return. Well, the name Christ might be a little confusing, or the name Jesus, because the name Jesus, of course, was the name given to the body that.
Oh my gosh, Jacob Castro. What's up, savages? I like this guy's avatar. That's pretty damn awesome. I've been working on a new avatar. I'll have to show it to you after.
Ooh, are you really going to change your avatar? That's going to throw me off completely.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I like Jacob's though. It's just
I do too.
It's really awesome.
That mind that was indeed from.
Of course, I like Let's Go Brandon's too with the Florida Man beer. That's awesome.
The kingdom of heaven came, and that mind was here 2,000 years ago, and that mind came for the express purpose of teaching humans how they could be saved, how they would not be plowed under at the end of the age. Well, we're at the end of the age. So the one, or the mind that was in Jesus, what? That mind is in me? You'll have to decide that for yourself. I must admit that I am here again, that I'm here saying exactly the same thing that I said then, trying to say it in today's language, trying to hope.
Well, the good thing is, Melissa Jane, he is not around anymore. He is not around anymore. He made sure to remove himself from this world.
Hope that for your sakes, you can see what we have to offer you.
Brother, we are doing just great. We love this space. Good to see you here.
For our Father offers you life. I'm not talking about human life. If planet is about to be recycled, and we see the planet as a stepping stone, planet Earth a stepping stone, that just as within a civilization evolves upward, that each segment of civilization becomes more civilized, less barbaric in some ways. It's supposed to, not that it necessarily does. Sometimes it seems to appear to be more civilized when in fact it becomes more barbaric, more quick to condemn the rest of the world.
At least lose the shirt. Come on, man. All right, I'll take a button down. How's that? Take a button down. One button. I mean,
So,
you know, a button is that not good enough? Button was enough. They should have been gone ages ago. The pants were gone ages ago.
oh my gosh. I have a quick question.
Yes.
What year did this come out comparative to like when she passed away? Is this after she passed away?
Oh,
Before
this
she
is
passed away?
much further after she passed away. So I
Okay.
would say about 5 years after she passed away. But they
Okay.
were saying that, she took she already got on the ride and was already gone. Now don't be surprised because Heaven's Gate is still around. They're not gone. We'll get into that in a little bit, but this is his, and yes, he barely blinks, but whenever he does a bunch of quick blinks. I think it's because he's reading off of something, or he's just he doesn't know how to handle himself in front of a camera. And this is VHS too, so
He's laser focused.
don't come.
More quick to kill the rest of the world that does not think as it thinks. Well, I know what I just said. I said that I am the return of the Son of my Father. I'll tell you something that's even more remarkable. My Father came with me this time. Came in the early 70s, took on a human form, an adult human form, helped me get in an adult human form in the early 70s, and we together helped those who came with us that were also here 2,000 years ago get in the bodies that they were wearing so that they could rid themselves of human behavior, human activity, human thinking, so that they could be ready to move into the kingdom of heaven or the evolutionary level above human. These that are sitting before me have been students of T and Do. T, my father, have been students of T and Do, are still students of T and Do, even though T returned to the heavens in 1985.
Now, T was Bonnie Nettles.
Right.
Yes. Maybe it's just my phone. It keeps glitching in and out. No, I haven't deleted myself. I'm watching the stream and it's still up and excellent. It's still going. It's good.
And T is my heavenly Father. Gave me
Cool.
birth into that kingdom before this civilization began. Now, I'm not here to sell you on that, or
I hope not,
who
because
I am,
that doesn't make any
or who
sense.
these are. I'm here to offer you, as these are, an opportunity to know the truth so that if you can connect with it at any level, then you might survive the respading or the recycling that is about to occur. We made a tape just shortly ago, and in that tape, we said that there are 3 types of individuals that will survive the
Yeah, we're not going to.
that will survive the recycling. One type of individual is those individuals that have overcome their humanness enough that when the end of this age is complete, when the war is over, the spading complete, there's nothing left here except for recycling.
Hello, my cunt. Good to see you. Yeah.
So he said that T was his father.
Yes, Heavenly
and
Father.
birthed him.
Mm-hmm.
So that got all sorts of messed up real quick.
Right. Because he's making it up off the cuff.
Okay. I was thinking it sounded like one long run-on sentence that he was just making up in his head as he went along, but I wasn't sure.
Right. Well, and you'll see it gets a little weird here shortly. How much drugs has he consumed? A lot of drugs. I mean, this is a group that started in the 70s. did do a stream today. It was awful. I have to run it back tomorrow and try it again, mostly because I don't know how to do StreamYard. Well, that happens. I mean, the first time I did StreamYards, I never hit go live.
Because you got to
Yep.
hit it twice.
Yep. I was
Mhm.
like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked for probably a good 20 minutes to myself, which I do that anyway, but whenever you start answering yourself, that's when it becomes like a little bit questionable. So yeah, that's the introduction into this guy right here. He's and this is here. Hellbot brings closure to Heaven's Gate. See, they're still out and about. This is a website that's up and running, and they're still true believers in Heaven's Gate. You can order a hard copy of their book, and they've got all of that information out there. It is not just something that was, sort of unknown. And so here we go.
Is
So
that a
this is,
Green Bay Packers logo?
it could be.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it could be Green Bay, it could be Georgia, it could be anything. It's not an uncommon one. So this is an old article. It says 20 years later, in 1997. So if that gives you any idea, that is not 20 years later in 1997 currently. So it talks about the eating habits to the sneakers the group during war during its infamous 1997 mass deleting. But with UFOs, they had a big obsession with UFOs. They wore tracksuits matching Nikes. They had also had a new recruitment tool, the internet. They were the first well-known cult of the internet era, because before then you had Jim Jones and things like that. What was that? That's all good. They were using new technology to serve their beliefs a wider audience and also to make a living. They derived a large portion of income from designing web pages. Formed in the 70s, they become reclusive by the start of the 90s and started attempting to recruit members using the online organizational name Higher Source for the website.
So that's kind of crazy to me. If I'm thinking about this correctly, she was born in 27. And if they
Yes.
didn't form until the 70s, that's like their late 40s, early 50s that they're starting this. And they're
Yeah.
good at computers enough to design web pages and get paid for it. I'm impressed. Color
Well,
me
later
impressed.
on. Yeah. Well, no,
The
they would
older
have
they got, the better they got at web pages.
no, what they would do is they would get people to join them and have them design web pages for them.
Oh, so younger.
You have to understand they also did come up at the period of time where they were part of designing stuff for the internet in the first place. If they're in their 40s, then they've already gone through the whole portion of building computers. That's not new technology to them.
I
So
just I couldn't imagine my grandmother, for example. She was born in the 40s. The first time she got a computer in her house was early 2000s, maybe 1990s, right when I can't remember. I was young and she did not know how to use that thing ever.
mhm.
So it's impressive to me when a brand new technology comes out and it's being used to do things like gather people into a cult.
Well, and just to get their following, because if you
Yeah.
see around 74, they had formed their little group called the Crew, and for 2 decades they lived all over Southern California. And if you know, that's Silicon Valley. I mean, if you're all over Southern California, you're brushing elbows with all the people that are web designers and crap like that. But she died in 85, where The internet was introduced to consumers in the 1990s. So she wasn't really introduced into computers. She was more about getting the following. And so they started using that to share their beliefs, wider audience, which is not uncommon. If you're gonna form a little bunch of nuts, then you might as well, do it on the internet. But Applewhite
I
told
got
us
that.
alcohol.
I got
Yeah,
that.
it took a second. It took a second.
Oh
This
my goodness.
got my Nikes on the feet, ready to go to the comet. Oh, yes. Haley, where are you, Haley? Oh, Haley, pop, 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 pop. It's fun. So they read the Bible, especially Revelation. So a section about the two witnesses, they would prophesy. At the end of their prophecy, they would have to battle demons, which Applewhite and Nettles called the Luciferians. So they were already setting their sights on something, and it's here we go. This maybe gives a little bit more. So the comic Kotek signals God destruction of America claims that Douglas MacArthur and the Pied Piper were speaking from beyond the grave and charges that the Jews and the blacks were conspiring to rule the world. And there was a lot of sex, lots of sex, all in the name of Jesus. Yeah. Badgered by cult deprograms, condemned by New York's Charity Fraud Bureau. This is different cult. Sorry. We'll delete that out of there because that's a different cult altogether. But yeah, the cults were a little big in the 70s. And Haley Bob Heaven. Yeah, that was the children. That was one I was thinking about covering. And I had to pull up some articles on it. But because that one is much more active currently than the Heaven's Gate group, I was like, I'm gonna have to. It, and it also goes into a little bit more of the kiddie stuff, and I don't think I want to put that stuff on the YouTubes. I may have to take it over to the Rumble for that particular one because it is a little bit. Well, I'm glad you do. We also do too here. I mean, that's one of the reasons I do this is because it's just, and it's still up? Absolutely. It is. I don't think it's ever gone down as far as I can tell. I actually had it pulled up here just a second ago.
I don't think it's been updated in probably like 10
No,
years.
it's been updated.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can request materials from these folks, $45, and you can send some money over to them. And it talks about leaving with them. I mean, somebody's paying it. Somebody's paying it to keep it up. These things don't stay up on their own.
That's what I mean. It looks retro. Like it looks like it
yeah.
hasn't been visually, it's not 21st century internet. It looks early internet still.
Do you need anything better than that? I mean, it's pretty. I mean, really?
I guess.
I mean, so this is Doe's final exit statement. It's a very long statement, so I'm going to probably jump through quite a bit of it, but it'll give you just a little bit idea. Always wonder who's paying the bills for the URL and server space. Oh no, there's still Heaven's Gate members out there. They've as recently as 3 years ago, as far as I can tell, they were still having interviews, and they're still true believers in everything. Is that Marshall Apple White Claw? That's pretty funny, Archie. That's pretty funny. Just caught up to live. I remember that cult dying. Well, they're not dying. That was one of your first deep cult diving into cults. Yeah, they were a little creepy bunch, and we're gonna look at some of their exit statements. This is his exit statement, his final one.
This is March 19, 1997. And I'm Doe. Some called our partnership T and Doe. That's not my name, but that's how I'm referred to on planet Earth at this time. I've been talking to my students that are sitting in front of me about talking to you. And let me say that our mission here at this time is about to come to a close in the next few days. We came from distant space and even what some might call somewhat of another dimension. And we're about to return from whence we came. And I'd say that when we say we came from distant space, that we're talking about what your religious literature would call the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God. And we came for the express purpose to offer a doorway to the kingdom of God.
Or better known as a Heaven's Gate.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's Doe. He goes, like I said, he goes for quite some time.
To not leave. It is suicide to not leave.
That's his thought.
It is to take life to leave this body behind. It is to significantly take life. This is not life to us. This is like living in a civilization
That's what I was wondering.
of history that is.
Oh, they've got an explanation for that one too. And yeah, I'll bring that one up a little bit later.
Yeah.
The student exit statements. So we've heard enough of Doe, I think, for right now. Doe is you can tell that he's a little kooky, obviously. But the student exit statements are, pardon me, a little bit darker, because they seem very happy and content.
Look, it's the same font, the same colors that they used in the website. It's literally not been updated.
Yep. So these are the names that they want to be called by.
Custody and Strati.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to begin our interviews today with Cyril.
You'll notice that they're trying to take on this this look of neither male nor female, androgynous,
Right.
and it becomes
Did
very
you see how giddy?
yeah, they're ready for this.
Brody, how long have you been in this classroom circumstance?
I've been in here since Valentine's Day 21 years ago.
Okay, and is there anything in particular you would like to say?
21 years.
That person doesn't even look 21 years old. I mean, it does, but doesn't look like the 21 years. Okay.
Yeah.
What would I like to say? Oh goodness, um, there's so much I want to say to you. Just about anything that would be of any significance to you is already on Heaven's Gate. I mean, this is kind of, in one sense, kind of silly. I would really strongly recommend if you could find Heaven's Gate, the book, the website,
Yes.
go there, study it, read it. It would do you a lot of good. But maybe on a more personal note, there's a number of you out there that have probably been in contact with me personally number of the classmates that you'll be seeing on this tape. And remember how you felt when we were there. Remember, you know, what it was like to work with us and to be with us. And you probably do better off trusting that rather than whatever information you run across on the TV. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff come out about this that can't give the perspective that you would have. So trust your own feeling rather than what you hear from someone else. I mean, that'd be my primary advice to give. The other thing, and I hope this is okay, but Pastor Murray, just because you've had a contact with someone from an extraterrestrial circumstance doesn't mean that they're any more trustworthy than someone who hasn't. I mean, the Mormons, supposedly, John Smith had the same sort of contact. And a space alien doesn't mean that he's from the kingdom of God. So you would do well to do some research as well in the same regard. I hope I'm not going overboard by naming these people, but Kenneth Copeland, Janet Paul Crouch, Kenneth Copeland in particular, Ken and Gloria. For a while, we were really thought that you were picking up on next level information. You were being a good instrument, and then you go off into this thing. This was some time ago. Go off into this thing where you're telling people that if they want to get wealthy, then they need to, give more money to people. They need to tithe more. I mean, come on. Where do you get this stuff? Your focus is wrong. I mean,
I see they're misunderstanding what that part of the religion is about as far as tithing and that. It's not about giving money, all of your money away to other people and just throwing your money around willy-nilly. It's about investing in other people that are investing in themselves. There's a big difference in, if you're giving to your, for example, you're giving to your local church might be doing outreach. They could be doing things to help people that are homeless, that are poor. They could be helping out people's in their community. And that's what that money is going for. It's and that kind of help actually benefits you as a whole. If you treat people like absolute garbage and you just sort of throw them to the wolves, like you're on your own kind of thing, it generally comes back to bite you, because what'll happen is whenever they have no food on their table, no other means, they're going to come after who has more than them. And that's where the tithing comes from. It also, you're whenever you're tithing, you're not doing it because you're buying your way into heaven or some crap like that. You're doing it to help your community out because you want your communities to survive. And I think that's where a lot of people get this mistake. And like I said, I'm not religious in that aspect, but I understand the purpose of it. If you look at these kind of things in logical terms, I mean, if you just watch everything burn around you and don't do anything to help out to stop it from burning down, you might be tithing of your time or your money. But yeah, exactly. You do it for selfless reasons, not selfish reasons. And that's what these folks are missing out on. And it just, I think that burns me more than anything, because I see that in a lot of the people that are very much into their church. My wife's grandmother, like, I think 50% of whatever she had after she passed went to her church that she went to, like, almost her entire life, a good part of her entire life. And that was her choice. That's what she wanted, because what her church did for the community was a lot. It wasn't just that, oh, they were just taking advantage of her. It was, no, I mean, she got a lot of value out of it, because she would see people grow and prosper because that helped out, and even if it was an anonymous donation. And I mean, I that's what really burns me whenever I hear people go out on a limb and say, hey, the churches are horrible, blah blah blah. I don't believe that. I just don't buy into their dogma. It's a little different for me, I guess.
I mean, coming from somebody who went to a church where the leader of the church stole all of the tithing and used it to go on private expenses or private trips, used it at private golf clubs, was, doing all of these crazy things with it, that can leave a bad taste in your mouth. But the theory of it is wonderful if it works and is put to good use.
Exactly. Then that's the thing right there is oh, T-Rex, dude, thank you so much. What is the name? What are the members of my cult, my YouTube channel? Well, they're not goats, that's for sure. No, we're just calling them nuts. I mean, because you'd have to be nuts to follow me around and think that I've got some sort of like grandiose things. Thank you, T-Rex, so much for the $9.99 super chat, brother. It's not necessary, and I thank you, but it really it is plenty. Just be doing this and having fun. Almost nuts. See, almost nuts. Yes, love nuts. Yeah, you gotta love the goats. Gotta love the goats. Yes, I've got memberships, Caitlin. You know it. Take all my money now. You will take it. Oh, see, Valhalla, and see, I created that particular one just for you, and I will only show the rest of that whenever Valhalla is on. Well, you're only getting a portion of it till Valhalla actually comes onto my channel, giving you a taste, just a taste. Yep, I've got D's nuts also. That's one of my icons up there, one of my emojis. These nuts are up there. See? And welcome to my new nuts here. We've got some more nuts. Welcome, ORG, and welcome, Murph's Turf. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Beam me up, shizzle weezy and whizzle wizzy. You guys are awesome. No, and I hope to still continue doing this kind of content and keeping it up to make sure that I'm giving you guys something. And I don't know, the holidays coming up, it can get really crazy, and I think I like spending fun with these guys. I mean, yeah, we've got the Iron Rabbit. Well, thank you, Jackpot Springs, for becoming a new member. Jeez, you guys are just like piling on in here. Now, I don't know if you can take my last $5 and let me succeed.
I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, that or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Thank you, Archie. I appreciate it. It's so nice of you. No, we've got True Story of a Holic. Oh, I'm sorry. That made me laugh. Good one. Good one, expert. Good one.
I'm just not
Good
gonna say anything.
Good to see you, expert. You're all about a couple weeks ago. You know, I did put it in a particular emoji up there just for the expert. I did. I absolutely did. I had to add that emoji in there. I was like, got something for him. You hear that, Caitlin? Your face was so worth it.
Mm-hmm. It always is.
Kisses. Bastards. All right, let's hear some more about these weirdos.
I don't know. I'm probably stepping out of line here. Paul and Jen Crouch, you sat there and you pleaded to be the emissaries for the second coming when it arrived. You wanted to be the ones that had all the infrastructure all set up and ready to go and be prepared for his return. And did you know that we were in your prayer groups for a while? We actually did some of your accounting for a while. I mean, we were right there. And you've had ample opportunity. We even sent you a tape of the Beyond Human series. And what we got back in return was a warning about cults. I mean, T and Doe have tried and tried and tried to give all of you a shot that say you've been looking for this, but you're looking in all the wrong places.
A quick question here. So, in the event of even, I don't know what that means. Yeah, see, that's the experts one right there. Too cool, too cool, too cool, too cool, too cool. And of course, I put Caitlin's kisses up there.
I didn't know I thought those were for the expert. So that's funny.
Oh, and have I heard the Jonestown audio tapes? Actually, I did cover the Jonestown stuff, and I did more than just audio tapes. I actually had at the point that the camera crew and all of the people that were around were deleted. It doesn't show any blood or gore, so you can go back and you can check out the Jonestown stuff that I did. If you're wanting to see the actual raw footage of that, of the people getting on the plane and leaving, and or trying to leave before they came after them. So it was a pretty dark one. What was that? Every time he takes a bio break, just sings the Wizinator song. It's the tune of "Oh Susanna, oh don't you cry for me." Well, that just sounds like it's weeping. That doesn't sound healthy. You might want to get that checked out. I am telling you right now, if it's weeping, go get it checked out. Man, don't cry for it. Get it checked out. They make stuff. Good to see you, Jonathan. Good to see you. Oh, do you have plump lips?
That's not what I meant.
You use that in your, yeah, that plane footage is nuts. Absolutely. MLS, good to see you. It just took some time to get out of the treehouse. Well, there is a very easy way to get out of the treehouse. You just
Oh, fuck it.
I was gonna say, did he use the ladder or the rope swing?
It doesn't matter. You just say fuck it and get out of the treehouse. You just climb right on out. Oh, well, so back to the loons here. Back to the loons.
Anyway, I didn't mean to go on at all. I didn't mean to make such a. And I'm not singling just you out, but you're ones that we
Man or
took
woman?
interest in for a while and then got disappointed.
Man.
So hopefully this is not to criticize. This is hopefully to help.
The size of those hands.
from someone who, has heard some of this stuff.
Okay, before we move on to Questodi, one last question. How do you feel about what is ahead for us?
Oh, this is the happiest day of my life.
Oh my gosh. Grimsbar. Grimsbar. Comets are fragments from the ice wall that got launched into space when the asteroid killed the dinosaurs. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Grimsbar makes some awesome music. If you is soy an option? I guess. I mean, it's always an option. Doesn't mean you have to, but it is an option for sure. Waiting for Farrell to deliver the slide. I'm wanting to see that. He needs a fireman's pole. He needs one of those twisty ones, so that way he just slings all over the place. He'll get hurt if he uses a fireman's pole. Don't do that.
It's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, it probably would be dangerous. Grimsbar is Malita. Sorry. No.
I mean, I've been looking for this for so long. Some would probably sit here and somebody on the other side of this camera watching this tape would probably say,
Can't with y'all tonight.
Oh, you can't handle it. We gotta keep the humor. You gotta keep the humor alive. You know what MLS Law is gonna get? He's gonna get one of those little chair lifts to ride up and down.
That would be so funny.
That would be, and he could stream the whole time he's doing it because it moves so slow. He would just be like on his computer riding it down here, get down to the bottom, and then just walk it. Yeah, see.
And then it gets stuck one day and it starts going backwards, and he's like, "No, go back up."
Oh yeah, that would just be absolutely hilarious. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if we can find one here. Oh, I could totally see it. I can see it right here. Yep, this is the one right here. Let me share this. That's too cool.
Too cool. He wants to sit, remember?
Oh, that's right. He wants to sit. Let me see if I can find one. Doggone it. But if he wants to sit, there we go. We'll get it in this one right here. This one. No, that's wrong one. There we go. There's his chair lift.
That is what I was picturing.
Yep, right there. Got his chair lift right there. I see it. Yep, that's gone.
Yes.
Yep, that's gone. Best chair lifts, Bruno Allen. There you go, brother. Look at that straight. Ooh, I want that. You wanted to take me to the toilet? Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at that. There you go. There you go. I'm picturing MLS in that chair. Why not make it a crapper too? I mean, that's what the diaper is for. That's what the diaper is for. In 1623, Dave is not going to be driven inside by the Michigan winter. Oh, look at that. And waterproof. Wanted to go to the shower. With the hover round, I was able to escape Palestine. Oh my God. I want one of those, but instead of going up the stairs, it has to go from the couch to the fridge.
I like that one.
Yes, Stray. That's the good life right there. Write that down. Good to see you, Dave. Good to see you. That's awesome. And Stray, I mean, all you fine folks coming in over here. Well, should we get back to now that we got a whole derail?
I feel like you're avoiding it.
Oh, because it gets so much worse. It really does.
It's
Just,
cringy.
it's that look like off into space. Like, I really don't care. I'm ready to end this.
Well, must not have a life, or you're deluded, or you're brainwashed, or whatever the thinking might be. It's hard to tune into. From our perspective, from my perspective, this is Hudson. I mean, this is the answer to everything.
All right, enough of that guy.
I'm sorry. We
So which one is the man? Which one is the woman?
Those are both females.
There you go. See, Caitlin's calling it out. Can't be much worse than Tiger King. That's about right.
are interviewing a number of people just to see a number of people express some interest in saying something on camera to the people that might, get this tape. And we just wondered if you had anything particularly you wanted to say to people.
Well, I just want to let everyone know how lucky and happy I feel to be here, and let you know that what we're about to do is certainly nothing to think negatively about. We're all choosing of our own free will, go to the next level with T and Doe. That's right. And they are certainly not what the media is going to paint them out to be. I never got to meet T in this incarnation.
Y'all think this stream isn't going to get derailed? Really?
Really?
Really? Really? You think it's not going to get derailed?
See, now that's what nightmares are made of.
That's the point. That is the point, to make nightmares.
Don't dry, baby.
It's much better, isn't it? Yeah. No, not much better.
No.
You don't like the old Calgon commercials?
No.
What?
Exactly.
There's a heartbroken mother out there. Yes, she does. I guarantee you. And that's why we're trying to make humor of it, because it is so disturbing that within 24 hours these people will be no more. And that's the heartbreaking part of it. Is they had such a belief that they were going to be taken away on the tail of a comet on a spaceship that they deleted. And that's why we're trying to make fun. Trying to have a little bit of humor here. Just a little bit.
In her human vehicle, but I can tell you that Doe is the most special, dignified, unhuman, objective person that you can ever meet. That's right. He has helped us so much and put up with so much and never
They both are.
done anything that seemed.
Wait a second. That could be Dumb and Dumber right there. Got the blonde.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
The shirts.
You want to hear the most annoying sound?
Even close to the way a human would respond. And I guess that's really all I want to say.
Oof.
That sounded pretty good.
Okay. And Wakenodi, is there anything you'd like to
Sorry, I'm
add?
going back to kids' table
I
now.
think I feel just like Arasodi does. And if people would just know that we're not forced into this in any way, it's, our own choosing to do it. And I'm really happy that I made this choice, because there was a lot of things kind of working against me not to, I'm sure. I know there was people in the world who thought that I had completely lost my marbles.
No, they don't think, they know. You just never knew that you lost your marbles. Oh my gosh, just It's just so sad. And you notice they all have like the same kinds of last names here. Oh, here, we'll back it up 15 seconds.
You.
Thank you very much.
So here's, and they're all called ending with Odie. Odie. Genodi, Levanodi, whatever. It's just, Gee, Sergeant Carter. Watch out for the guy with the candy. Expert. Oh, it's just so sad. So men or women?
Women.
Both of them.
Yep.
Okay, we have Janodi and Livodi with us today. Livodi on the left, Janodi on the right. How long have the
I don't
two
know.
of
I
you
couldn't have
been
told
in
you their
foster
names if you wouldn't have
circumstance?
told me.
Well, Janody and I, both these vehicles ended up being a couple that were in Oregon in 1975, and we took these two vehicles. You've probably heard of the news media story in 75 about a bunch of people disappearing from Walport, Oregon.
No, I didn't hear about that. So they disappeared from Oregon. They got picked up in Oregon and joined their little group.
Well, we're still here and not for long. We're very happy and proud to have been members of Tito's class, and couldn't be happier about what we're about to do.
She doesn't sound very happy.
No, she sounds very emotional. These are very unstable people. Speaking of
She
losing marbles,
said-
last word, Toodles.
She said, "We're still here, but not for long."
Yeah. And you can tell that she's clearly emotional over it. And I think, and this is the problem I have with that group think, is because you get into a group like this, and if you're not a free-willed person where you think on your own, you will let a group like this just bring you right in, and if you had any sort of bad thoughts, I'm trying to think of a good way to put it, any thoughts that are not appropriate because you might be depressed, a group like this will amplify it, and they will say, no, those are okay thoughts, and that's not appropriate, because given if she was given the right care by somebody that actually would talk with her and understand whatever issues that she has going on, that they would be able to bring her out of this kind of attitude and know that there's something more out there than this.
Did they say that they were a couple in Oregon?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the day and age, that was not okay. I
Right.
mean, they were exiled from society before they even had a chance. And then that instability leads to them finding these strong personalities with charisma and some sort of idea that makes it seem larger than life, and they have a purpose all of a sudden. And it's
Right.
horrible.
But they're giving them purpose. And yes, this is before they drink the Kool-Aids. And this is the problem with whenever you get these large groups that promote like really bad ideas, because this could happen anywhere. This could happen in the Catholic Church. If the Catholic Church came along and said that everybody needed to jump on the bandwagon for this one particular thing, you would have quite a few of them that jump ship and say, no, that's not logical, that makes no sense. But there would be quite a few of them that if their church told them, that they would do it. And, they would lose a lot of their followers, of course, but they wouldn't have much of a following after these people did something horrible. Think of Spanish Inquisition. It wasn't hard to get people to follow along with doing horrible things to other people to turn other people in.
Right.
It's it is sad. It is very sad. And, what is that? They've already kind of done that from some things the Pope has said. Well, depends on what you do, what you follow. I mean, humans are social creatures left over effect from evolution. People will believe insane things just to fit in. Yeah, and we saw that not too long ago happening, throughout the United States and the rest of the world. It's pretty easy for people to fall into that trap of, making sure that they fit in with the group. And sometimes you don't have to fit in with the group. Just be yourself. And if it doesn't feel right, don't let anybody shame you into something that's not right. If the whole world is jumping off the how your parents say it,
If
if
all
all
your
your
friends are
friends
going
are,
to go jump off the bridge, are you going to follow them?
damn right, if there's water under there, I'm going to have a blast.
If I've had a few drinks, probably.
Especially if it's Kool-Aid. Jesus. Come on, parents. Good job.
Doubt is never an issue. Certainly, at times, temptations of the vehicle or dumb influences might turn our heads for this reason or that, but there's always a deep down knowing that from the moment of seeing Tiendo that
I wouldn't be surprised if I've already possibly covered it, and I've got a couple others that are out of Australia that'll be coming up. I covered one out of Australia not too long ago. There's a few of them in Australia. It's crazy. I can actually do some more videos. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
this is why I'm here to take this vehicle and do this task. And always knew that I knew Tiendo from before this time, that there was strong recognition
Oof.
and genuine. Same way.
Only thing I can think is that, it seems like probably the ones who will be, the blame will be pointed at would be Tiendo, and we've always had free reign to come and go and believe or not believe for as
Good to have you.
day one in the class.
Really
And
good to have you.
in fact, more times than not, Tiendo would put effort into pushing anybody out of the class that didn't want to be here, and wasn't just full steam ahead with what they knew the truth of the next level to be. And
No, we're absolutely glad that you could come by. Really, LC
That's awesome.
LC is a total bro. He is like a true gentleman in many ways. And I would not want to cross LC on a bad day. Let's put it that way, because he seems like he could be pretty damn vicious, but he's also very, very caring with his time and with his energy, and he pays more attention than a lot of people give him credit for. I think he just he's such a good guy. I mean, I it's and that right there, and that's why I was talking about that tithing portion of it. So he's giving out to the community, and not because he's selfish, because he knows at some point in time that 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 kindness and that love that he spreads around is all going to come back to him whenever he needs it the most. That outpouring that he does for other people because he's able to, he knows that stuff is going to come back. So that's why we like like him so much around here because he's awesome. Caitlin, can you turn super chats on? I feel unfair giving my cult leader $5. Give me a second and charge $5 too. She is not
Maybe
monetized yet.
soon. Maybe. I'm working on it. We'll get there.
She's working on getting hours and getting the material done, and you know that's she's got a little ways to go. She's also got, you know, she also has a family that she takes care of. Plus she goes to school. Plus she works a job. This is a hardworking woman, so you know she's out there, you know, not being a slack ass like the rest of us. But if she could
Don't
turn them off,
remind me of all my stressors.
those are all her stresses. She comes over here to relax. So stop it. Stop picking on Caitlin. Treat him with respect. You'll treat you with nothing but kindness. Yep, absolutely. Yep. LC has a good heart. I mean, straight. You can see my namesake where I stand, Rabbit. I'm better off a loner. Sometimes. What was that? Oh, I thought you were both monetized. My mistake. Getting Caitlin monetized. Get Caitlin monetized. Absolutely. Well, she is definitely working hard. She's not working really hard on the YouTube stuff because she's working hard elsewhere. And that takes up a lot of time. And one of the reasons that I wanted Caitlin to come on here is, one, it helps her watch hours out, which she's going to find it's going to be really necessary. So she can get, you know, she could have 100,000 subs right now. And if she didn't have any watch hours, it would do her no good. So the watch hours, you get those things in, and the subs will come along as they find their stuff. Yep. She's working harder than I am, that's for sure. Yeah, she works harder than me too. I'm just old and broken.
That is not true at all.
Well, I break myself every day just a little bit. Yes, LC is happy to help anyone who needs it. Absolutely. Yes, she does have a channel, and it's right there. See, that's her channel. Caitlin comments.
Thank you, Rabbit.
Yes. Thank you. Only on days that we ask her to, and we usually have to throw bugs down her shirt to get her to strip.
That's not funny.
It is funny. She got attacked by a bug on the experts channel. Like it was going for broke. It was like, come on, Caitlin, take it off. I will be your dollar bill. He jumped right in there. Yeah, she got off stream really quick, and the clothes came off. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I heard all about it after the fact.
Yeah, I got really close to eating the experts channel on accident.
Yes.
And no,
Yeah.
it was not a spider.
No. What was it? It looked like the size of a cricket. That thing was huge.
Yeah, I'm not really sure because it went inside my shirt and it went out real fast. I grabbed a tooth, gone. I didn't go looking for it. I think my dog might have eaten it.
It might have. Oh, I felt so bad, but I did clip it, so I'll have to get it up here sometime.
I felt so bad, but I did clip it.
Yes. I did feel bad, but I did clip it. It goes on the internet. Somebody's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to someone later. So they get screenshot.
It's on the experts Friday night live stream. Y'all can go watch it.
Yes, you can.
Maybe if it's still up. You have to be a member.
Yeah, you might. No, Friday Night Live. I don't think so. I don't think you have to be a member. You might have to be, but if you're not a member over here, you can always be a member over there. I mean, experts are good people. You know, you gotta love that guy.
He's amazing.
He is amazing, and I've actually figured out how I can redirect. So after this stream, I'll be redirecting to somebody that might be going on. We'll see where I redirect. I don't know yet. We'll find out.
All right.
I can only redirect to one place, damn it. But I will figure that one out.
And the funny thing is that, we all came, just human vehicles with minds entering those vehicles that.
More
And,
vehicles.
So you met Tien Do at that time, or did you attend a meeting? How did you find out about them?
Well, that's a long story, but suffice to say that when I heard the information, all
This
feel
next
very emotional
one's
about
going to be pretty disturbing.
the gift that we've been given. And I'm the happiest person in the world.
Okay, thank you very much.
Jackpot Springs. This next one.
Okay, so Vodi, you've been in the classroom for a number of years now. Would you like to tell us about that?
Oh, yes, I joined with Tien Do in September 1st, 1975, after the meeting they held at La Cañada in the San Francisco Bay Area. And that's when I began at that time.
Okay, and is there anything in particular you'd like to say about your time in the classroom?
Well, when I knew that I'd be given the opportunity to speak to any who might be interested in what we might have to say, I tried to zero in on what I thought might be helpful to you. And as Joe mentioned, I'm one who left the class after having been in it for 6 years and returned into the world. From my experience both in and out of the classroom, and from my experience with the being cared for, nurtured, and guided by the next level, I feel I could recommend that if you recognize the next level information is true now or in the future, the best thing you could do is to pursue it with every ounce of energy you have and continue to cling to the next level representative with your whole strength so that they can call you faithful. It's up to each individual to prove.
It's just so broken. Yes. The classroom, more like the victim room. Sorry, I didn't realize you were streaming also. Oh, that's okay, Rabbit. I didn't have Caitlin's up there. I should have Caitlin's up there. Damn it, I'm so horrible at this.
I started it late and I didn't say anything. It's okay.
You guys go over there, watch Caitlin. You can have multiple tabs open and have Caitlin's stream running. And if you put Caitlin's on 0.5, it gives her more watch hours. So what you do is you put it on as slow as you possibly can, and then you like hit the little mute thing over there, and it gives her the watch hours.
I didn't
awesome.
know that.
Yeah.
So if you watch it at ×2, does it give you half the watch hours?
I guess, yeah. Sounds like it.
Hmm.
Also, that way, whenever she gets up and dances, you can watch her dance in slow motion. Pretty awesome. If you haven't seen her dance in slow motion, well, then you haven't been paying any attention.
Go back to my intro.
I'm telling you, go back to your intro. You have to rewind the stream all the way back and watch the intro. See?
Say, oh, I kind of remember back when I was doing that. But the second grader, there's no way you can tune into what college level students.
It's just so disturbing. All these folks.
There is no way for us to explain to the people who are probably watching this tape.
I mean, we should have known with the glasses.
We understand that.
Well, they're
The
like
worst
me,
is
they
yet to
try their
come.
very, very best, and I'm sure that will be good enough to the next level. Just do the very best you can.
Well, we were all happy to see you come back.
Track
I know
suits.
what a struggle it was being out there. But I think I can speak for everyone else in the class that we've been especially impressed with Dunwody's positive attitude and willingness to help with everything that needed to happen.
Schmoosh alike. Yeah.
Well, I for one am very much aware of the limitations now of this human vehicle that I have, and I'm anxious to be of more service.
They
in
just
this
keep
level
saying vehicle over and over.
than I meant to, though, and I knew that they were my older members.
And every time I see one of these,
And I had to come with them because I knew that
they
this
just
is
don't
what I
look
had to
healthy or happy.
Okay, we have Melody with us now, and Melody, would you like to tell us how long you've been in the classroom and something about that experience?
Oh, well, sure. I've been in the classroom since April or May of 1975.
She needs to go back to class,
years.
learn.
And it's been the best 22 years I could have ever experienced. There were a couple questions that I wanted to address specifically, or try to. I hope that that I can pull enough from my older member's mind that my answers to those questions would be appropriate. There were a couple things that I suspected there might be
Absolutely,
individuals
Stray.
out there who would like to ask us if they had the chance.
Yes.
And one of those questions I thought people might want to ask is, how can you, when you, so many of you have so many capabilities and talents, when you could have done so much in the world, choose to throw all that away and go off with some cult and just lose your life? Okay, so in response to that, for one thing, you have to consider what we as individuals wanted to become. I think everyone in this class wanted something more than the human world had to offer. They were seeking some type of goodness, recognized at this point, but the love that an older member has for a younger member is a type of love that a human cannot experience. There's a selflessness and a purity that goes beyond anything humans feel for each other. It's not a love
Tell me
that's
where
based
Doe
on
touched you.
satisfying mutual needs, which is really
Right.
what almost all human relationships are. They're satisfying some mutual addiction. And a relationship with an older member, it's
So having a relationship with someone else, they're saying, is some sort of addiction, like satisfying someone else's addiction. That's just wrong. I mean, that's just like saying all human interaction is just self-serving some sort of addiction.
based on a
I
shared
mean, we know the
desire
mental capacity
to
isn't
grow
there.
and serve the older members.
Yes, it's absolutely. No, that's the thing. The manipulation is not just to obey the leader. The manipulation is these are probably very broken people in the first place. And they went to these people seeking to find some meaning and some purpose. Think about how many people were lost and confused after all of the lockdowns, looking for other groups to hang out with. Some of them finding it online, some of them finding it other ways. You know, how you see a lot of people, swarmed over to YouTube, over to Twitter, over to other spaces, looking for some sort of human interaction, some sort of human connection. And I think we saw that, those interactions weren't always good, because you've seen some people like do some pretty crappy things over the past, what, 3-4 years now, that's just like really mean, horrible things, almost finding enjoyment in watching other people suffering, which is never a good place to be. I mean, I understand laughing at someone's, silliness or stupidity, but seeing to see someone else suffer, like, it would be equivalent to taking a bag of kittens and then throwing them in the water and opening fire on them. That's the way that I look at it. It's like just to watch the suffering and the pain, just to hear those kinds of screams. That's what I equate it to. A lot of the way that the internet in post post lockdowns has been. A lot of people like really thrive on watching other people suffer, and it's not enjoyable. I mean, to watch somebody else suffer or go through like pain, like mental or physical pain, is not something to be reveled on. And I mean, I joke on these people because, unfortunately, all of them don't exist anymore. They're in ashes, and it's heartbreaking. That's what's so disturbing about this, to see that all of these people had the potential of doing something really great in their life, but they got hooked up with the wrong kind of people and put them in a space that was not satisfying. I mean, if you think about it, any time that you're sitting there, watching something on the YouTubes, and you see something, somebody like do the ultimate fail, where they just like slide down a slide and, like ratchet their face all up. It is funny to watch the silliness of, yeah, that's one of those hold my beer moments where you're just like, yeah, that's pretty
Some of
funny.
them are funny.
But to see like actual humans suffering, that would be like, not only were they going down the slide, but somebody jumped on top of them and rolled their face down the slide. That's whenever it starts to get a little bit disturbing, where and it's all captured live, and it's all shown on the internet. And to see something like this group, and this is in the 90s. I mean, this is some of this happened before a lot of people were even born. They would have no idea, except for coming back and seeing something like this, to see the how unwell these people were. And part of it is to put it into perspective, that these were human beings. These could have been your next door neighbor. This could have been somebody that you've seen on a YouTube stream. And that's where it hits home, whenever you realize that these people had so much potential, but because somebody was very manipulative, and because they were very weak and couldn't find the right kind of help, that they fell into this. And but it is hard to feel sorry for somebody like that, when if you would try to help, they would deny they need help. They don't want it. Absolutely. And that's the disturbing part of it. And I completely agree. There's nothing you can do to help these people. But I don't revel in their demise. I show these kinds of things because I want people to be aware that there are other ways, other than joining up with a group that is harmful to you. Just because they're showing you a little bit of love does not necessarily mean that they're being healthy for you. And that's why, take into account that there's other people that may see things that you don't see. So, and yes, it is possible feel sorry for someone in a bad situation regardless. And I do feel bad for them. I mean, this is a great loss of life. And they won't be the first, and they definitely will not be the last. It'll happen over and over again, as long as there are people that are manipulative, like this guy was. And that's why I try to put these things into perspective, because I can tell you from my own experience, there's been times where I've been down and could have easily fallen in with a group like this. I can see it time and time again, where, I'm thinking about being homeless and going, damn, I could imagine falling in with a group that says, hey, we got you, bro. We got you back. We'll show you how to do X, Y, or Z. Just come hang out with us. And you could easily fall into their dogma because they're enthusiastic about it. So it's easy to see even myself falling into something like that. I'm pretty confident in who I am now, but you take about 30 years off of me, I might not have been so confident about who I was.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a pretty running joke with me and some of my friends that, in the right time and place, I probably would have boarded Manson's bus at some point.
Yeah.
And that's just who I am as a or who I was and have been as a person. I
Right.
mean, we all get into those places where you're at that point where there's somebody who is there to pick you up and make you feel good when you're not feeling too great. And you're at that level of, I just need some sort of connection where you'll believe or take in anything that they say.
Right. Been there. Right. It's easy to fall into those traps. And that's one of the reasons why I do this series. It isn't to make glorify all of these people. It's to show that there's real hurt out there. And whenever you see somebody that's hurting, it's much easier to reach out and give them a little bit of help rather than allow them to end up like this. And that just think there, any point in time they could have made that decision not to go this way had somebody showed them a little bit of compassion along whatever route that they took. Every person will be in a vulnerable situation at one point in their life. That's when cults are most dangerous. Absolutely. And by the way, Caitlin, HAL 9000 has candy for you. You just got to get in the back of the white van. Don't tell Shizzy, but he's my favorite acolyte. Since joining one of us, he has been a top-notch example to the newly accepted. I love it.
That created them and to please them. And I could wish for nothing more than that you may someday experience that as well. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
This one right here is probably,
These vehicles probably the best we can do. But
and they all just keep calling them vehicles, but this next one will probably be one of your more disturbing ones. And it's gonna be rough because I knew someone that almost looked like this person back in the day. I don't think it's them, but looked a lot like them. Talks a lot like them, the same inflections, but it's sort of hits home a little bit.
it's that simple. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. If you could just see it that way and just see how simple it is to us, because we don't identify as these bodies. We know they're not us. I don't know if that helps you any, but if you could just get into our headspace a little bit and just see how happy we are and, how strong will we are about doing this and committed to this. I mean, I'm nothing without my older members, T and O, and I just can't wait to get up there with them. I don't have much else to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have Stiloti with us today. He's been our primary computer tech, and of course he's dabbled in a lot of different areas, and I think he'd like to talk about that right now.
I've been with this classroom for, I think, 22 years now. I first met T and O in 1975, saw their picture in a paper, and I knew that at that time, when I read about the information that they were presenting and their position and who they were and what they were offering, that but that was meant for me. I had suspected for some time that I was here for some type of task, not knowing what it was. But of course, after learning what T&O had to offer and the requirements that I was going to have to meet, I realized that I was part of the away team, that T&O were and are my older members who I look to for everything, and that following the information that they brought will
How I
All right,
feel
wrong
about this
one.
step that
This
I'm
is the
taking.
one right here. Sorry.
continue in their
I was
8 to
like,
5
this ain't the
slavery
right one.
behaviors.
It's the next one after this.
I think I probably covered that point well enough. Again, these here are the most incredible individuals that I have had the honor to spend time with. And to see the ways that they have changed and what they've become with that perspective.
We know this one right here.
Okay, we have Thursody with us, and I believe that you chose the name Thursody because you want to be reminded of your thirst for next level knowledge. Is that correct?
That's right. I know my vehicle's, or this vehicle that I'm wearing is, pretty nervous, pretty scared. Not really sure what I'm going to say. I guess, what I wanted to maybe address more was how I feel about this step that I'm taking. And some may say, well, boy, it's quite a irreversible step. And I just wanted to say that I'm familiar with irreversible steps. And tell you what, I don't know if you remember Doe talking about that some students had proven to him that they desired to have their vehicles neutered. And I'm one of those students that did that. And I can't tell you how free that has made me feel.
You understood what he said, right?
Yep, got it. Loud and clear.
Been here long enough from the time I had that operation to know the freedom that it offers me. And I'm just so thankful for that opportunity. And in all reality, I can't see that this next step that I'm prepared to take and looking forward to taking is anything more than a clinical operation. And having seen the benefit that the neutering has had for my consciousness, for my ability to grow and be closer to my older member, that I can't see any other way but to fully expect that laying down this vehicle is going to be anything but great for me. And, individuals think of mind control or whatever. And I was in the class for 5 or 6 years, and then through my own ignorance and being attacked by influences, felt like, well, maybe I wasn't developed enough. Maybe I wasn't a strong enough student to continue. Well, being out of the world being out of the class, proved to me that this was the only thing for me. And for the number of years I was out there.
So does that put in perspective recent events where you get shunned by a group? I'll talk about it later.
I would have been deprogrammed easily being out there in the world because you're bombarded so steadily by everything of the.
I mean, could this have been easily cured with a diagnosis of like autism?
What could have probably helped this guy out was not being around this group.
Well,
But because people out in the world has because people are mean and cruel. And imagine this. And I'll just use it from a musician's perspective. Imagine you're playing in a band and you're an integral part of that band. You might be the drummer, for example. You're a drummer for this band, and all of a sudden one day they come in and they say, yeah, you're a little weird. We're kicking you out. We're going to get somebody else to replace you. So they sort of kick you off to the side. And now you don't feel good about yourself at all. You think, oh, I just must be a horrible drummer. Not that you are, you just start getting this anxiety. You're trying to do self-reflection. And then, because they basically made fun of you, but then you go out and you start hanging out with all of the other musicians and you realize, yeah, you're sort of a little bit odd, a little bit goofy. You don't quite fit in. And you come back to the group and they're just like, they welcome you back with open arms because there was nothing wrong with you in the first place. They had the issues, but they laid off all their issues on you. So they welcome you back into the group, make you feel nice and good and wonderful. And that's where this leads to that sort of, we disenfranchise you. And then whenever we reach out the peace dove, if you don't accept, well, then we'll just keep shunning you and you're going to be stuck in this horrible place in the rest of the world with all the horrible musicians. And it makes you really second guess how good you actually are. Although you were perfectly fine, it's a psychological game that can really fuck with people bad. And that's what happened with this guy right here.
A psychological game that is being played on people who are already psychologically unstable.
Correct.
I mean, a little bit of mental health treatment, I think, would have gone a long way in a lot of these cases.
Exactly. Almost every single one of them that I've seen, but they're completely accepting in, and it's like telling the guy that thinks that the radio is talking to him. It's like telling him that the radio is not actually talking to him. You're never going to get through. You're never going to get through to them. There is no convincing them that the aliens don't exist. There's no getting through to somebody and saying, the world is not out to get you. There's no getting through some of these people that have already got this perception that something is going on. They're seeing things that you don't see. And it's not that they have some sort of second sight. It's because all the little brain neurons aren't quite firing right. And it happens. Oh, yeah. Jackpot Springs. I believe we've all been in the position at least once in our lives that we could have been influenced into something like this. Only by the grace of God, we were directed in a better direction. Absolutely. Finding people that are supportive is very important in these kinds of situations. He just never found the support.
He
And
did. He absolutely found support, just not the right kind of support. You have to have support that is healthy support. Because there's a ton of people who will back up you all day long, but what you are doing and what they are doing is not healthy or good for life. So I agree with support, but it's got to be the
Right.
right type of support. Because he
Well, and
found
they
his people. He found the support group he needed and did not need.
well, and they shunned him to start out with. And then he came back and they allowed him into the fold. And I've seen this also happen in a lot of like little militia groups and stuff like that, where they'll say, "Oh, you're just not strong enough. You're not healthy enough. You're not." It's high school games. That's all it is. Think about this. When you were in high school, when I was in high school, I was not popular at all. Eh, Nobody wanted to have anything to do with me. I was the new kid that came in, and I was easy to pick on. I was short. I was skinny. I weighed close to nothing. And I always dressed in hand-me-downs. I mean, I was easy. I was an easy target. So yeah, I got picked on like crazy. But me, I was just like, well, screw you. I'm just going to go off and do my own thing. And then I found people that were a lot like I was, that were sort of off doing their own thing. And we could sit down and have a conversation and hang out and do things that were offbeat or wild, we could, sit around for hours just looking at the stars or whatever the hell we felt like doing. And so I lucked out in finding a group of people that were a lot like me that just didn't really give a shit about, being with the in crowd. And we were welcoming of anybody that, was in that same position. It wouldn't be uncommon to have some guy that was, the jock star or whatever be like wanting to hang out because it's just like, well, shit, all my friends just sort of bailed on me because, I did something stupid or I have a different belief or they found out something about me that wasn't too cool. So it wasn't uncommon to, have people around us that were, you know, everybody is an outcast. You just find people that you agree with and that's you build your own community. And that's sort of what these folks did. It wasn't very healthy.
Right. It's a very toxic community.
Yes.
I mean, literally the most toxic community you could ever get to at this point. Holy moly.
Break you down, build you up. Wrong. Well, military did that to me. Military broke me down quite a bit. Well, at least they tried to. I sort of laughed at them whenever they were just cussing me out, calling me a piece of crap like that. I was like, wow, you're actually nicer than my mother was. So,
Oh no.
it's like my mother would have a field day with you assholes. Woo.
The world. And I know that one thing I may have gained being out of the class is commitment. And I just want to express my commitment to my older member.
And that's it. Jackpot Springs, you got that absolutely right. That is so true. Gangs are the same way. They go after those with no direction, hopeless children. That's why they say this is my family, because they had no family. It's brainwashing. Absolutely. And that's what these guys are, is a gang. Just think, you got the black gangs that will go out and commit crimes against other people, and then the white gangs, they just commit crimes against each other. Just like horrible as shit. Same with mine. Absolutely.
And T, and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to be back in the class and to take this next step. And also just want to say how wonderful all of my classmates are and what a great inspiration they were for me to find out that there was still a class going on after the number of years that I'd been out. And that the fact that they stuck through it all, it's so hard. You have to be totally on top of things to even be in the class. So it's not like you're captured here. If you're not doing your homework and pleasing the next level, you're not going to be here. And I guess that's all I want to say. And bye.
Thank you.
Wow. Chopped his junk the hell off. A woman.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, I mean, all of these folks just look very unhappy. It's like a false put on smile that each one of them has. Some of them just look like they just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And
Like they've
I mean,
given up.
and that last one sort of hit me a little bit hard because I was around someone that was a lot like that guy, that, he was just a big, goofy kind of guy. And he wasn't a bad guy, but he didn't quite fit in. Like his body didn't fit with his mental capacity. It was like a 5-year-old child in the body of like a 40-year-old man, and just couldn't quite fit in. And I don't know whatever happened to him. I mean, reminded me a lot of him. I was just like, wow, that could have been some people that I hung out with that were truly disturbed. And I mean, not just a little bit. Like these people had some issues. Um, and it sort of hit home whenever I saw that guy just sitting there going, yeah, now I'm happy I cut my junk off because, hey, it freed me from whatever. And it's, what takes you to that point where you're just like, to fit in, that I'm gonna remove parts of my body. Done with the videos. On to this part. And then we'll close this thing down. I'm old. I remember the 70s and 80s. Yeah, I remember the 70s and 80s. Parents having to kidnap the children and having to take the deprogram like a drug addict has to be detoxed. And some of those were what do you call it? Hyperbolic? I'm thinking of the word hyperbole. It was some of those were not kids being deprogrammed. It was actually kids running away from their parents that were very violent. And so some of those kids that were being removed from situations was parents trying to gain control over their children so they could abuse them some more. Don't be fooled by every single one of them where, kids going off to join a cult or some crap like that. A lot of times it was kids trying to get away from really, really, really bad situations. I think a lot of people, you know, that I've talked to have been in those situations where the parents would not want to release kids because they wanted to maintain that control over their children, and have, because the parents were very abusive, and having something smaller and weaker to abuse is much easier than, trying to abuse some guy at work that'll probably knock your teeth out. Just saying, there's people that are like that. So not all of those were a healthy situation, but yes, there was a lot of deprogramming going on. It was raised up around gangs. They never had to recruit. There were many ways to be jumped in. Gang life was scary in a way that didn't otherwise have. Absolutely. That's absolutely true, Stray. Absolutely true. So two found their burning bush in Oregon campground amid the Myrtle and Creek in the Myrtle and Cedar along the Rue River. They've been on the road for 29 years, 29 weeks. The deers loped, the gulls cawed. God spoke. The year was 1973. It was a restless time. It was not unusual to find people in a prolonged wandering, sea to shiny sea, trying to get lost, to find themselves. But even among these wayfarers, the two, which we're talking about, Doe and T, there was nothing of the bohemian and the middle-aged Texans. Bonnie Latrusa Nettles, 46, was a registered nurse from Houston, a recent casualty of the marital wars and the quietly forceful mom of three teenagers and a 12-year-old. She loved to shop. Marshall Applewhite, which was Doe, 41, was divorced and had two children of his own, son of a Presbyterian minister. He was an opera singer, a voice professor, and a choir master, well known in Houston's small arts community as a bon vivant.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because when we were watching his video, I kept noticing this man does not take any breaths. He literally could just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk without having to stop. And I was like, wow, now I know he was an opera singer. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. His love of a good time had recently been turned inside out by his self-willed gift for prophecy. Their friendship was slightly more than a year old, and from the start they had rarely left each other's side. The relationship was chaste, but their minds were complementary and their passions the same. Like so many through the ages, they wanted to escape mankind's eternal predicament, to find a way to get out of life alive. To that end, the two would eventually cut and cobble a far-fetched theology from the scriptural and the occult. Miss Nettles knew her Bible, but she also charted the stars, summoned the dead in seances, and took guidance from the voice of someone she called Brother Francis, a 19th century monk. Mr. Applewhite himself, a novice mystic, had once been a seminarian and could quote the gospel front to back. He believed that Armageddon approached and that only the righteous would emerge at God's side from the volcanic depths of reckoning. How their jury-built doctrine evolved, how it attracted others into a lethal fusion of church and space known as Heaven's Gate, is a study of people in vertigo of physic and religious upheaval. American knows now the two as guinea and pig, bow and peep, do and tea, or doe and tea, the dead shepherds of a dead flock. 5 weeks ago, their search for immortal truth led Mr. Applewhite and 38 acolytes to a mass suicide in California. Unfathomable as this spiritual misadventure may always be, an extraordinary record has been left behind, including soul-searching letters that have been buried in boxes for the past 2 decades. The two frequently wrote down their thoughts in private correspondence in the early days, and in treaties and manifestos later on. These testimonies are the plot points of a very peculiar passage. The journey from sincere religious zeal to delusional beliefs in a divine calling, and finally to what most psychiatrists would call outright psychosis. These delusions would prove to be a human lodestone. Hundreds passed through the group in 24 years, and there might easily have been more than 39 among the dead if all those still loyal to the teachings had stayed in the group. Some of the closest to the two had left the group for one reason or another and now wonder whether they missed a chance at a heavenly ascension. Interviews with these people provide an intimate portrait of day-to-day life in what amounted to a scrub room for the mind. Capped along the Oregon coast in July 1973 while meditating amid the wild iris and rhododendron, the two believed that God had finally revealed to them their overwhelming mission. That was not entirely unexpected. The two had been reporting instructions from God for some time. Though this was their first major assignment, they were to be the two lampstands mentioned in Revelation. They said, and from then on, God would see the world through their eyes. We are not anything, we are in the past, they wrote to Sharon Morgan, a friend in Houston, in a letter to her daughter Terry. Miss Nettles passed along the urgent news, adding insistently, I am not kidding, baby. This is for real. But if they were now to be God's earthly light, the rest of their calling was not very clear. Where should they go, and whom should they tell? Once again, the two, as they came to call themselves, hit the road, this time driving more than 8,000 miles in one summer month. Zigzagging between California, Utah, Montana, Idaho, they went up to Canada, down to New York. Their money ran out. They slept in a tent. They often ate only rolls and butter. All the while, a close review of their letter shows they talked and talked about their mission almost exclusively to each other. God's truth undergoing rewrites with this earth-shaking hypothesis that biblical proof, ideas exploding in them like a percussion bomb. From time to time, they stopped to sell their blood at blood banks, to work at menial jobs, or to share their sacred information with the unenlightened, making it call it a church or religious bookstore, but people were not inspired. The two did not come across as a 20th century successors to Jesus. They seem more like two weary Texans driving a little green rust bucket. Bonnie and I are discovering more and more than the religious and loving are the last to see or accept our truth, Mr. Applewhite wrote. Rejection summoned anger, and anger darkened them. And I mean, I could go on with this. It is insane that this gives so much insight as to what drove them, because these come from a lot of the writings that they left. And it is not a short story. As you can see, it goes on and on. It is almost like a biography about these two. instead, with barbiturates and vodka, they could all outlast mortality. Farewell videos were bequeathed to the world. Happy prospects were written across the exiting faces. Dude himself left a various word of parting. After the suicides and before the spading under of all earthly life, there would be a brief window of time for those who wanted to join the group. He preferred locations that would be in the west or southwest. Calling out the names T or Doe would alert the spacecraft. Otherwise, the class for overcoming humanness was over. It had been gone on for 24 years. At least people here on Earth would measure it. On the next level, this was only a flutter in time. Did the precise calculations before he left. He had been teaching the humans for 31 minutes. This is fascinating, sad, and so many things. Yes. And that is the heartbreak of all of this. Because at any point in time, there could have been somebody step in and made sure that it didn't happen. But they were never able to. It never actually happened. It continued and continued and continued. So let's end our poll right here. Did they make the spaceship? What does the poll say? It says 51% of you guys say no, they did not make the spaceship, and 47% said absolutely they made the spaceship. Well, there you go. Now we know. So what I'm going to do is give me a chance. I'm going to pull up where we're going to redirect all you fine folks to.
I was pulling it up because I was curious, and the youngest member of the victims was a man named Michael Bar Sando. He was 25, and he was an ex-paratrooper.
Yes.
I mean, 25. And there were people up in their 70s. 72-year-old medical assistant Jacqueline Leonard. So, like, the age range was vast, I feel like. And
it was.
Ex-paratrooper, it's a pretty strong person. I would
Not
like to
necessarily.
know.
Not necessarily. You find yourself out in the world all alone, nobody else to talk to. You served your time in the military. You were jumping out of planes. You
Well,
served in
yeah, I know.
Vietnam.
But like to get to that point, you have to be a pretty strong person. I want to know if there's more about his backstory. I for my own personal knowledge, I want to know what made him do that. What made him go that way as an ex-paratrooper, because that to me feels like a profession that you have to be pretty strong in. So something had to have happened between him becoming that and then
Doing that.
the end.
Right. I would love to know more about it too, but the world doesn't know. The world doesn't know at all. So this is where we're going to be redirecting all of you fine folks. Make sure that you give MG Law a big thumbs up. I might show up there for a little bit, but I do have a late night, so this is where I'm going to redirect all of you guys, and be good to one another. Get to know each other in some way, and try not to do any harm to other people, because if not, you just end up wearing Nike shoes and not having any junk. That's no fun.